I'm going to start this hour with a story that is getting a bit of traction today, and that is a suggestion by Québec Solidaire. It came from MESSIER of Québec Solidaire, that the province follow in the footsteps of France and Ontario, because they already have done this, and amend its civil code to include a ban on no pet clauses in residential leases. These are things that, as I said, based on what they're asking for, have already existed not just recently, but apparently for years in France and in Ontario for at least the last 15 years or 20 years. Not happening in Quebec. And of course, the reason here, and it seems pretty obvious, that for a lot of people, pets are like a member of the family, and it seems difficult to have to go if you have to move and then find out, well, I want to move and I can afford to move here, but I can't bring my pet. And what happens every year, we know this, July 1st, moving day, is pets get abandoned literally by the hundreds and end up in shelters or worse. And the Québec Solidaire thinks it's time we kind of woke up and decided to do something about it. So I wanted to present a couple of different sides here. SOPHIE GAILLARD is Executive Director at the SPCA here in Montreal. SOPHIE, let's start with you. You obviously support this idea. I want to make sure, am I stating this correctly? I think we all know this, but I want to be fair. Come July 1st on moving day here, it's a fiasco as far as pets are concerned, isn't it?
Yes, it's a huge problem every year, and it's not even only on moving day. This is a situation that starts in the spring and continues in the fall. We have high rates of animals being surrendered to shelters because their owners simply can't find housing that allows them to have their animals. So it has a huge impact on people as well as on animal welfare. And we're really, witness to these heartbreaking scenes every year where people who are responsible animal guardians take good care of their animals, would like to keep them, but are basically forced to part with them because they can't otherwise house themselves.
So you support this initiative, I guess, by Québec Solidaire. Any provisos in here, or you just think it's a good idea in general?
Well, this is something that we have been advocating for over a decade at the Montreal SPCA because we see the situation happening every year. And it's not only in Montreal, this is true across Quebec in shelters everywhere. And we did introduce a petition at the National Assembly that was sponsored by Québec Solidaire, MNA, Manon Massé, that garnered huge public support with over 33,000 signatures. So we know this is an issue a lot of people support. We've seen, as you mentioned, this be done in other jurisdictions, in Ontario since the 90s, in France since 1970. And there has been no apocalypse in those areas. I mean, things are doing just fine. So why can't we do the same thing here in Quebec?
I'm curious, if you have been sort of proposing this for as long as you have, what have other governments given you as a reason not to do this? Or has it ever gotten off the ground at all?
It's been difficult with previous governments as well. This is definitely an issue that, as with your next guest will explain, that the owners' lobby, landlord lobby is very much opposed to. So it's been difficult to try to gain traction on this issue, even though it has a lot of public support. 33,000 signatures on a petition. That's impressive in and of itself. Are you more confident now that something will get done? It's not necessarily fair to ask when you've been trying to do this for so long. Do you feel it's different this time around? Well, this is the first time that a bill is actually going to be introduced to try to accomplish this change. So we are hopeful this year, and we've seen that, I was mentioning Ontario and France have this in place, have had this in place for years and years. Other jurisdictions have more recently put this in place. I'm thinking of Australia or Germany, and it's something that is being discussed elsewhere because it's a problem everywhere where no pet clauses are deemed valid.
Okay, well, that's one take, and I appreciate it. SOPHIE, thank you for your time. You mentioned my next guest, yes, a bit of a different perspective. Landlords, not necessarily enamored with this idea. Martin Messier is president of the Quebec Landlords Association. He's on the line. Monsieur Messier, let me go back to what was said here. 33,000 signatures. A lot of people think this would be a good idea. Why do landlords not think so?
Yeah, so I understand, first of all, that it is really sad when we see, and we're the first to find it sad when we see tenants abandoning their pet in the units when they leave the premises. We have to take into consideration the fact that, a few points. First of all, we're talking about Ontario and France. The situation is different, namely because in Quebec, the security deposit that is allowed in both those jurisdictions is forbidden in Quebec. And we see a problem never with the animals. Let me be clear, we love animals, and we think that the problem rests with the pet owner. And it is a concern for the tenants where, the first thing that will happen when a tenant visits the unit, you will ask about the pet policy in the building. You will ask us if the children allergy reaction maybe will have to be in contact in pet within the common areas, the backyard. So. And I guess the problem rests not with the pet, but with the pet owner that will leave the pet alone for long hours, even a day, and then pet will, of course, will bark, disturbing the other tenants in the building, and have to do their business in the unit if the pet is not taking care of that. So we've seen problems that are quite important with damages to the units, and the fact that there's no incentive for the tenant to take care of his pet and to maintain a proper behavior. Because there's no security deposit, we think that it has an impact. Doesn't matter. Of course, we tested we polled the market, and in 2019, 34% of building owners were accepting pets, and at that point in time, that number would raise to 50%. So one owner out of two would be willing to accept pet if there was a security deposit permitted in Quebec. So it's not the same reality that we have. We also have a lot of older buildings where, the soundproofing is not the same. So I would say that it depends on the building, but also on the tenant's needs.
Okay, this security deposit idea, which you said is not now legal in Quebec, if that were changed and you would have to put up a security deposit, would that solve the problem to some degree or not?
I think it would make a huge difference because when we polled there's a significant raise in landlord accepting pets. It would be meaning that one landlord out of two would be accepting pet. And so that's 50% of the market. So I think it makes for a lot of pet owners being able to find new units. But then again, if you have a pet, I only recommend that before you terminate your lease, verify. And I'm a pet lover myself, so I would never leave a unit if I was not sure that I could bring my pet along in the new unit. So that's just an advice.
So this idea, and I know it's stated in the argument, I guess, by the Landlords Association, we're talking about pets' rights, but of course landlords have rights too, and you're saying they should basically supersede the rights of the pets or their owners. But in Ontario, this thing has been in existence, I think, since the 90s. With security deposits, there's not been a problem, at least not that we heard of. You heard Sophie Gailllard say there wasn't an apocalypse, as an example. Why wouldn't that work here across the board as just a new law, new rule?
Well, the market is different in Ontario. I would say that most of the units are in taller, bigger building, different structure. In Quebec, we have a lot of those plexes that we see all around where the soundproofing is not the same, or we have more, I would say, common areas, smaller communities on the background. So the preoccupation for a tenant, maybe because they live through problems in the other building, but it is a concern when they visit our units to assess whether or not there will be pet in the building. And the fact that in Ontario there is a security deposit, I think it goes to the incentive that the pet owner has to respect, otherwise he's going to lose the security deposit, meaning that when I go to the hotel with my pet, they will ask me for a one-night stay for a security deposit, the pet security deposit. So, I think it just makes sense, and I think that would increase the number of landlords willing to accept pets in their building.
And are you asking the government to consider the security deposit issue or not?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so there's a potential here for us. I know some people complain saying it shouldn't be only that half will still, even if there was a security deposit, allow pets, but I guess half is better than nothing. So maybe that's where this gets sawed off. Mr. Messier, thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.